Rob, what stands out about this team a couple weeks of practice?
I think that we are faster, which we played pretty fast last year. We have a lot of guys that can shoot the ball, spread the floor. A lot of guys some more guys that make decisions off the bounce. I would say probably a couple more physical drivers, I would say. Got a lot of guys that can make plays with the ball in their hands as far as dribbling, passing, and shooting at a high level. So it's a different dynamic. It's something different than we've had here in the past. Some guys that change us a lot offensively and defensively with our length. Because where we're not as tall and beefy as we've been in the past, I would say we're longer, lankier, and athletic. So we've got a lot of guys that are really good and give us different dimensions we haven't had here.
Coach, Chaz was just in here. What can you tell us about that young man and what he brings to the table?
Chaz is a really good player that has no clue how good he is, which is probably a good thing for us to try to kind of tap into the potential that he does have. I think that Chaz, he comes from a school that he had a really good coach in Coach Driscoll that helped him with his mind offensively, helped him play with a lot of really good pace, and he understands offensive concepts pretty well. So he's a skilled basketball player that obviously, as everybody knows, he really shoots the ball. But the thing that we're trying to help him show kind of people and help him prove to us every day is how much more he can do than shoot the ball. He has really good, like I said, pace and field and ball screens. He's a really, really good passer, something that I could see on film, we saw, but you don't know until you're in the gym with him every day. And he's a really good kid, really good guy. He's a great teammate. He's almost too nice of a guy at times, which his teammates have gotten at him about it a few times and trying to give him that extra edge. But he's a really, really good player, but more importantly, he was a good fit for our program as far as a person.
How useful? Summer's always been important. You guys are blending new pieces in, but in the past it's been 4 or 5 freshmen. Now it's 4 or 5 upperclassmen. How has that changed your all's process?
I don't think it's changed our process much. If you ask Coach, I think he would say the same thing. The expectations are just what they are. We spent the first few practices of the summer, I think, kind of going through baby steps and more so teaching, talking guys through, helping guys understand our why and why we do things and why we want to do them at this pace and this speed. But now we've kind of like knocked the training wheels off and we're going. And it's kind of now I think Coach is getting guys used to, I think, the factor of the durability. You know what I mean? How hard we go, or how long we go. Helping them understand how hard it is playing the SEC. Getting guys playing up and down with each other so they're understanding, just I would say the pace in which we have to play a night in and night out, and kind of trying to simulate that in practice, which we're doing a pretty decent job of, I think.
How useful and effective was the Dalton Knecht story transferring to you guys and what he did now that you have actually went through a little bit?
Oh, it was great. I think it showed that, Coach Barnes obviously is he's coached a lot of really good players in his career. Here in our program, we've always been big on development, and that was a guy that no one really knew much about a year ago or around this time a year ago. Into a guy that everybody in the world knows now because he plays for the Los Angeles Lakers, and the success he had, and it was a fun year. It was obviously great to be a part of that process, and us as a staff kind of and as a team, as a program, be around him and see him walk across the stage on draft night. But I would say in recruiting, obviously it's been great. Every kid that can shoot the ball that's 6'7" thinks that they can come here and play that way, which is not that easy. But it's definitely we reap some benefits from it for sure.
What's it been like to watch Felix and Zakai play together? How well do they already play off of one another?
Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, watching them play together, you would think they played together for years. I think that they're probably the perfect complement to each other. And I think we said that as a staff when we first got Felix, that he was going to be a welcome addition here because of his vertical ability of going up and catching lobs, and Zakai being a guy that's grown that part of his game as he's been in college, and so it's kind of like a safety valve for him. Anytime it was like yesterday in practice, there was a switch that happened late in practice where You know, Zakai had a big switch onto him, and Felix had a guard switch. They were on offense. And Zakai, it was late in the shot clock. He kind of just threw the ball up at the rim. And Felix just jumped up and got it and just scored it over the top. And I told Zakai, like, great, that's what you should do. That was a great job. And he was like, I didn't even know where he was. I just kind of threw the ball up. But that's the, you know, I think that's the benefit of having somebody like Felix. And that's the kind of dynamic that he changes with us. It's just someone that's so talented vertically, but also a guy that plays with a lot of physicality and aggression down in the paint. I think he adds another dimension to us that is kind of similar to what we've had in the past, but it's a little bit more pop to it, I would say. So,
Coach, I know you guys were super high on Cam. Felt like you stole one back when he was in high school. But what's he shown people, or how has he shown people? You know, go play 2-3 minutes a game. Now he's showing up, you know, as a potential lottery pick. How did that happen?
yeah, you know, I don't think Cam necessarily just completely locks in on the whole lottery pick thing. I think it's kind of interesting that people are, you know, saying he's a lottery pick and they haven't seen him. But I think that contributes to his body, his physicals. I think people obviously saw him at Pro Day last year. He had a really good outing. Cam works really hard on his game and has a chance to play at the next level. And I think for him, it's trying to create the part. For him, it's not a matter of if he will, it's kind of when. And I think it goes with his development pattern. This summer, he's worked extremely hard. He's been in the gym a ton. He's gotten a lot better. He's gotten his body probably bigger, stronger, more aggressive. He's gotten even more athletic, which is kind of hard to do when you're a guy like him. It's so springy and bouncy anyway. But he's gotten better, man. He's adjusted to the college game. He's taken coaches' coaching in stride and has grown from that as well. So we're looking forward to him taking a step forward this year for sure. And just honestly, just continuing to work and build off of the success he had last year in the small increments and turning them into big usage for him. So
on the court, what are kind of the points of emphasis for his development?
I think starting off with Cam is pushing himself to be the best defender on the floor. You know, I think Coach talks about it with Cam all the time. I talk about it, our staff, we all kind of get at him about because of his tools and his physical gifts, he can be the best defender on the floor every time he steps on the floor. He's so athletic, he can block shots, he's great in passing lanes because of his length, he's quick twitch, he actually can stay in front of the ball. He's a really smart basketball player with a pretty good feel, so you know, you'd like to push him on that end to be great because it adds to his aggression on the offensive end where things come very natural for him on that end of the floor, and he can get his shot off whenever he wants to because, like I said, his size and his length, his quick trigger. He gets to the rim, he can finish over the top. Just a really good basketball player, man. So, and he's complete, but it's him growing his understanding of the game, understanding for his teammates, and I think as long as he continues to get better at that, he'll be fine.
How has Darlingstone continued to develop with this program?
Say it one more time.
Darlingstone, how's he developing now with the program?
He's developing well. You know, I think that for him, it was coming in and figuring out exactly where he wanted to play in our offense, position-wise. He's done that pretty well. Yesterday, it was good because I think his attitude and approach is really good for us. He's a straight and narrow, gets to work. You guys talk to him. He doesn't say much. You know what I mean? You can get him to talk and smile, but you know, off his first impression, he just kind of looks like a guy that just isn't about too much. I'm sorry. I'm sure you guys saw the interview you had with Ball Hoops. It was really dry, but that's kind of him in a funny way. But you know, like yesterday, we had a time in practice where Coach challenged him, and he probably dominated practice from then on. So he shows a really strong competitive nature that he has, and I think a winning formula that kind of comes from his pedigree that he's already brought with him that is definitely going to be welcomed here.
Couple more for Ron. Coach, have you had a chance to watch DK in the summer league?
I have.
Coach, what are your thoughts?
He's not at Tennessee anymore playing defense, so he's got to have his teammates help him a little bit more, or maybe do some things on his end. But I actually talked to him a couple nights ago, just getting his feel for the NBA game. I thought he performed really well. I think sometimes when people watch Summer League, they want guys to score 40 and just completely dominate every single game. Where with him, he had some games where he was extremely dominant, and he showed his shot-making ability and his ability to make plays defensively and make guys better. I think that the thing that I'm most proud of watching him in Summer League is him showing his ability to facilitate and pass the ball. He's done that at a high level, where here you saw it in spurts, but I mean, a guy was averaging 25 in league play, so he wasn't, you know, it was kind of the little dude's job to kind of pass to everybody, right? But he's able to show that and show different parts of his game. JJ Redick has talked to coach a few times, and he's been super complimentary, and Dalton loves him. He's been watching film with him and putting extra time in with him. So I think the thing that the Lakers love the most is the willingness to work and be better that he's going to have. So I think it's been great.
What kind of player do you guys have in Milic?
Igor is different. When I talk about the guys that have changed the dynamic of our team, he's probably one of the main guys that you think about. Since coach has been here, you know, I'm sure you guys have watched Tennessee basketball. When has he had a guy that plays the 4, that's 6'10", that can dribble, pass, and shoot? And when I say shoot, I mean could possibly shoot 38 plus from 3, right? He hasn't had that. And coach will be the first one to say, never had anything like that. The things he can do with the ball, you know, coach had him running point for a little bit yesterday in practice and actually looked good. We've tried some different things with him, and he's met the challenge. He's really competitive. He plays really, really hard. You know, his dad is a high-level coach over in Europe, and his dad called the other day and said Igor said it's the hardest thing he's ever done, and it's the most fun in basketball he's had. So we're playing really fast. He's come from 2 programs that didn't play super fast basketball, and he's came into practice and elevated practice completely with his pace of play and his skill and feel for the game. So it's been a fun, and it's been welcomed. I think he's going to add a completely different dynamic than we've had to our team, and it's something that we're welcoming. We're just going to continue to challenge him on the defensive end, and you know, he's met every challenge thus far, so you just hope that he continues to do that.
One more quick one from Ben, and then we're done.
JP and Cade, what type of off seasons have they had?
Great, man. They both have worked really hard. Cade went home for like 6 days, came right back. JP went home for 10, so they've been here a ton. They've changed their bodies. JP got his 6-pack back, which is great. We were happy to see that because he got a little pudgy at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Too many team dinners. But Cade has changed his body. He's worked on his shot a lot. He's gotten a lot better. You know, Cade is one of those guys that he hadn't played a ton of basketball when he came here. You know, he was a football kid a lot when he was younger. He was growing into his body, and he was hurt all the time. So it's been, you know, he told us in the season meeting, I just need time to like completely just sell out completely the basketball, and I know I'll get better. And this summer he did that, and he's gotten a lot better. He's doing great in practice, finishing the ball well. He's gotten better with his playmaking on the perimeter, so he's been great. JP just got to continue to build out the end of his year because I felt like it was really promising. Obviously, he played a lot of minutes in the Purdue game where he guarded Zach Edey, showed he had enough toughness to do that. Offensively, he's probably the best post scorer that we have, so he has to keep growing in that area, and he has to be the guy that when we need to be bailed out and get it easy too, we have to be able to throw the ball to him and get something easy. And I think he's growing in that aspect of the game. He's growing in his ball screen defense. So he's going to continue to get better. Cade will too, and you know, coach is going to stay on him. But you know, up to this point, I mean, they've answered the bell every time it was ranked.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The horn at the end.